locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. You know, a lot of people that I interview are in the service business. They're providing services for other people, coaches, consultants, that sort of thing. That's not to say that product marketing and product-based businesses aren't profitable or that they don't exist anymore. Look at Amazon. Amazon is basically tapping into a global product market, and you can do the same thing. And today's guest is going to help you figure out how to do that in a way that is easier than you think. I'm speaking with Daniel Sande. He is a true entrepreneur. He's led canvassing sales teams. He has developed brick and mortar stores and online e-commerce businesses. He began sourcing environmentally friendly products and soon realized the difficulties of shipping and importing goods. So in response, instead of giving up, he learned the ins and outs of import and logistics, and he now runs straightforward sourcing based out of Edmonton with an overseas office in Taiwan, connecting businesses to manufacturers to cut out the unnecessary middlemen and save your clients money. So, Daniel, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Yeah, Ralph, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to talk with you and get to know a little bit more about you as well.
Yeah, my pleasure to have you on the show. Because, like I said, a lot of people today, you know, they just want to hang up their shingle and sell services, and that is a quick and easy way to get started. And a lot of people, I think, are intimidated by the idea of doing a product-based business, but you've kind of figured that out. So I'm interested in hearing what you do. First, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. How did you get started?
Definitely. Well, I think it's been really fixated around the product industry more so in the past bit, but I was really entrepreneurial driven from a young age. I watched my dad build multiple businesses, change careers, really to make it happen, no matter what it took. I mean, starting off in the cooking industry, moving into construction, and then financial consultancy and all that kind of stuff. So I think it was kind of bred into me from a young age. What really kickstarted, I guess, was I got started knocking doors, selling security systems of all things. And I found I had a knack for communicating with people and really being able to portray a message. After that, I like you mentioned, was involved in developing a couple brick and mortar stores here and helping my dad with some of his businesses and friends of friends and different business partners developing storefronts, selling products. And from that, it just sparked into, you know what, if I can do this with somebody else, why can't I do it for myself? And then that's what stepped us into the eco-friendly products and eventually transitioned into sourcing and helping others navigate the ins and outs of import-export.
It sounds really fascinating. It's kind of, you know, like the vintage advertisements that you would see in National Enquirer and some of those other newspapers and magazines about getting into the import-export business. And I guess the idea is that you buy cheap overseas and then you sell it for a big markup over here. Is that oversimplifying it, or is that about the gist of it?
Yeah, I think it's about the gist of it, but at the same time, it's returning more power to the businesses instead of putting everything into the hands of a big corporation. I find that a lot of the times our economy and our the retail price of items can really be jacked up because it passes through so many hands. So when I simplify the process of connecting businesses with manufacturers, it not only cuts the cost for the businesses selling it, but for the consumers that are buying it at the end of the line.
So give us an idea about who you help. What are the type of businesses that you work with, and what exactly, how do you help them to figure out the in and outs of import export?
Definitely. So I'll start with this because I find that my job that I've given myself is quite fasting. I'm not sure if you're familiar, if any of the listeners are familiar with the Discovery Channel show that was called How It's Made, and where they showed the whole production line of common goods that we have in the economy. And then they show you how it's made. They take you through the whole manufacturing process and the supply chain and how it actually gets to your front doorstep. But that's what I do essentially. Is I've developed a network of 500 plus manufacturers, primarily overseas in Asia, that do everything from, injection molded plastic products to textiles over in Vietnam, paper products, glass products, whatever it is. So I've developed this network of factories, and I approach a business, or a business approaches me and says, hey, I'm buying 10,000 disposable coffee cups every single month. This is the price I'm paying right now. Can you get it for cheaper? And I will never cut corners on quality. I will always either exact match a product or make sure that the quality standard is set the same. But business owners will come to me and say, hey, these are the products that I'm buying in high demand right now. Or these are the suppliers that I'm buying from. They'll buy from 6 different suppliers for 6 different products. Instead of going to 6 different people, they come to me and I'll put them all into one invoice and have them all arrive at the same time instead of being staggered.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Tell us a little bit about the types of products that you work with, just so that we can get a sense of it. Because like I said, I talk to so many coaches and consultants. I am one, and it's all service. And so we think of our different services, but there's probably millions of products out there that people are buying and selling overseas. Give us an example of some of the deals that you've been doing.
Definitely, yeah. So just right in front of me on my desk, I've worked with supplying bottles, beer bottles for brewing companies. So that was a huge thing when I mentioned glass. So everything from beer bottles to vodka bottles to shot glasses to custom beer glasses with their actual logo etched into it. I've done injection molded plastics like sports drink bottles, water bottles, moving into stainless steel products like stainless steel drinkwares. We've also done custom textiles, everything from hoodies down to weighted blankets. Probably the most complex one that I've done would have been a custom high torque DC motor that was used for service lifts in auto shops. So again, everything from injected molded plastics that you can buy on a shelf to something that we're actually fine tuning and designing that can, lift up a 10-ton vehicle. Wow.
Well, so it's quite a variety of things. What is the biggest problem or the biggest obstacle you see with helping the people that you're trying to help? They want the lower price, but they don't want to sacrifice the quality. What are some of the hurdles that you have to help them overcome to get into this?
Yeah, definitely. I think that one thing that I notice more often than not is we take a lot of pride as business owners. For myself speaking personally to everybody else. And so you want to be involved in as much of the process as possible. So the biggest problem is, companies or individuals, when they're starting a business or they're buying these products, they want to have control of the whole process of it. And in doing so, they're missing certain steps. So they're not paying proper attention to certain import taxes or duties, or what actually happens once a product comes off of the boat and gets put into a shipping dock and gets moved around and then put onto a truck. Like, what are the extra fees that are going to be incurred in there? So when individuals step into trying to acquire their own products by themselves, they're not educating themselves to the extent like I did in the beginning. I got, really messed up in owing a lot of money and spending a lot of money because I didn't know these things. So that's what inspired me to do so. So it's just the little things in the big process that can sometimes cause you the most money. And it's, teaching people how to avoid those and then offering a solution to do it for them as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. So how would working with someone like you, as opposed to trying to figure all of this out on their own, and I'm sure you want to get paid too, how does it benefit these business owners to see what they can do with you as opposed to trying to figure all of this stuff out all by themselves. I got to say, it sounds overwhelming if you're not in that business, if you're not used to dealing with all the stuff, those hidden fees and the other things. And I mean, like, what happens if the boat sinks and all of your products are on board? You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of things that come to mind that could go wrong, that I think it would be really beneficial to have someone like you to really looking after their interests.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, early on in my entrepreneurial pursuit, I was told the best thing you can do as an entrepreneur, even as an industry-focused individual, is to put your eggs in the basket that you're best at, right? So don't be a jack of all trades. Focus. If you're good at sales, focus on sales and hire somebody else to do the secondary thing. Or if you're good at finances or purchasing, focus on finances and purchasing and hire somebody to do sales. So the biggest thing is, especially in younger companies, which I'm working a lot with right now, is why spend that extra 20, 30, 40, 100 hours learning how to import products properly and spend the surplus of hours that you're going to do so at whatever your hourly rate is, when you could be focusing on generating new business for your company. So allow me to step in and take care of the process and educate you along the way. But it helps to bring business owners' focus back to the things that their business needs from them in order to grow and to thrive in that. So that's where I feel I help provide that, is just by offering a service that can be quite time consuming to learn and also to maintain. And you talk about stress and the overwhelming of it. It's not just me doing it over here. I have a bunch of people that help me, and team members and employees that work with me. So it's less overwhelming for 10 people to do than it is for one to do.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how does Amazon play into this? Because I've seen some programs for sale on the internet that they claim that they're going to teach you how to import or how to locate a manufacturer overseas and negotiate all of these deals, and then turn around and sell it on Amazon and make a lot of money. Is that the whole truth, or are there some hidden things that we should be aware of when we see offers and programs like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the internet is a blessing and a curse at the same time, and I grew up more in an internet age, younger than most have. But when I look at that from that perspective, you're stepping into a whole other world of commitments, because when you're connecting yourself personally, and when these Amazon courses are teaching you and showing you how to get connected with these individuals, they don't mention some of the little things. Like, there will be language barriers if you're sourcing overseas. There will be time constraints. You might have to be up at the crack of dawn, or, staying till the cows come home, or way past whatever that is. And you'll have to be working longer hours to be able to communicate properly with these manufacturers, which adds a whole other, stress on its own. So one of the biggest things is, sure, there's systems and programs out there that can help you get closer to doing that. But it's not an A to Z, everything all in. It's going to be, as simple as 1, 2, 3. There is more behind it, and it's just, sometimes it can be overlooked if it's not investigated properly there. So I find that having my team with boots on the ground over in Asia, we can check a product in a matter of hours and do a video call to inspect quality before we even waste the time or money in shipping the sample over, which eliminates one extra step that a lot of these courses won't do.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, my first thought is, well, okay, you need to send us a sample, which is going to be expensive and time consuming. And so you're doing a video call and you have an office in Taiwan. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense now that you said it. But until you said it, it didn't make sense. So that's another example of why I think you're doing a tremendous job out there. What's on the horizon for your company? Where do you see the economy, the global economy, the whole business heading in the next few years?
Definitely. So right now, where I see this space moving into is, I would love to go from a sourcing company to a full-blown import-export company. So I look big and I look far into the future with modeling after like McDonald's and Walmart, and how they control their whole supply chain from the farms that the food is produced into to the actual trucks and logistics companies that are transporting it. So within the next 6 to 8 months, myself and my business partner are going to be heading over to Asia again to establish an even bigger team and an even bigger office over there. And that's going to allow us to start, building more revenue and building more volume to step into purchasing manufacturers. So we can cut those costs down a little bit more because it's all done in-house, and then eventually move into that. So I feel like looking towards companies that are providing an all-in solution rather than a super niche solution in this space might be where the market is going to move to. Being able to give more bang for your buck.
Interesting, very interesting. So if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, yeah, this is something I need to check out, something that I've been wanting to look at, didn't know where to start, and now here's someone who is doing it and maybe can help me. What's the best way for them to reach out to you, Daniel?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, email is probably the best. Our website is going to be up and listed. We just did a whole rebranding venture here in the last 2 weeks, but we're active on all social media platforms as well. Straightforward Sourcing on Instagram and Facebook. And the best thing is, I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't helped by other individuals that gave their time willingly. And so I'm more than happy to do so. So any questions, comments, concern, even just to learn more about the industry, I'm happy to talk about it. It's something that I'm obviously passionate about, and I love sharing, as much knowledge as I can with other people that have interest in the space too. So yeah, feel free to reach out and I'll make time for a conversation.
Excellent. And so the company is Straightforward Sourcing. And when that website's up, it'll be straightforwardsourcing.com. And we'll have that link on the Rebelpreneur website as well. Well, Daniel, this has been really enlightening. It takes us beyond just the basic idea of a service business and opens the possibility of doing more than just providing services, but really participating in a very exciting and fast-moving global economy. So this has really been great. I appreciate your insight. Any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I commonly get asked the question, how did I end up here? Because never once in my entire life did I think that I was going to be sourcing products or traveling back and forth from Asia and North America. But when I think your passion has to find you. And I think that that's the biggest thing is don't try to force something that's not there. Just go with the motions of life and allow the weird and unusual things to maybe find you and put you on a path towards where you need to go. So that's all I have for that.
Excellent. Excellent. Words of wisdom from Daniel Sande. He owns and operates Straightforward Sourcing based out of Edmonton with an office overseas in Taiwan. And he connects businesses to manufacturers to cut out the unnecessary middlemen and save his clients lots of money. Find out more online at straightforwardsourcing.com or any of the social media connections, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so forth, straightforwardsourcing.com. Daniel, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Ralph. It's a pleasure to be here.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.